Hi, my name's Katherine Bateson-Chandler, and today we're going to discuss half-halts and how and why we use them. Okay, so we're going to discuss some canter half-halts. So a half-halt is basically a collection of energy. There's a lot of different reasons that we half-halt, and we use them throughout our tests. They're sort of the basis of rebalancing our horses and collecting the energy. So you want to feel like when you ride your half-halt, I tell people you've got all this energy. Collection is collection of what? Collection is collection of energy. So you want to make sure that you've got all this energy. Not that you want to run, but again, you want to feel like you're on a trampoline, bouncing your horse. Good. And then when I go to ride my half-halt, I want to think, I don't actually want the canter to slow down. I want it to collect. So I'm going to do my very best to keep the same canter. Good. And then just say I'm going to cover less ground. Good, so I'm just going to cover less ground, same rhythm, same rhythm, same rhythm, same rhythm, and now I'm going to ride back forward again. And again, I don't want to be doing all the work. You see a lot of people, they go into their half-halts and you see them start pumping with their shoulders and they start kicking with their legs and doing all the work for the horse. You got to say, no, I just got to be able to sit here. I've got to be able to close my leg. Good, so I'm not telling the horse to stop, I'm telling him to keep cantering. So I'm working on this half-halt to make sure that my horse stays in front of me. I can sit loose, he stays in front of me. And then I can just get the canter back to where somebody could walk next to me. That's how you know if you've got your canter back enough. And again, I want to have a nice relaxed rein. Good, my horse stays in front of me. If he gets a little bit behind me, it's okay. I'm going to refresh the energy again. Good, so I want to make sure I've got enough energy. Good, that he stays up in front of me. Good, and now I half-halt back again. Again, I'm not going to use my upper body. I'm going to sit really nice and still. Let him do the work. Let him do the work. And again, this is a horse with a very big canter. Good, so it's actually quite challenging for him to do these half-halts. He has a very good hind leg, but he has a very big canter. So again, there he's dropping a little bit low. I'm going to push with the back of my seat up to the bridle. Again, I'm going to bounce this canter. Now I'm going to work on this lead a little bit. Again, not having to use strong aids. If I've got to use strong aids, then I've got to double up on my aid a little bit. If I feel like he comes back and he gets a little bit behind me, like I'm going to sit really neutral. Good, and there he's actually staying really well in front of me. Good boy, and I give him a big pat. And again, this is how we're going to eventually get to our canter pirouettes, is being able to make this canter small and neat and tidy, same rhythm, and like somebody could walk next to me. Good, you just find like a little tiny spot where they really find their balance with their hind legs. Good, and then ride back forward again. And again, your horse doesn't necessarily have to come back as much as this horse can, because he's quite a highly trained horse. Your horse may only come back a little bit. And again, you got to reward the tiny efforts they make to be able to come back on your seat. So if I even feel him just take his weight back a little bit, good boy. I reward that effort. Good, 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 good. And see my legs stay very relaxed. Good. And then I let him stretch. And then I let him put his neck forward, because that was a lot of collection. So I want to make sure after that I push his nose forward and I let him stretch. So now we're going to work on our half-halts at the trot a bit. Again, this horse has a really lovely trot. You'll see in just the stretching trot, it's quite a normal trot. And then when we put him together and ask him to sit behind, he has a very expressive trot. And again, that is created through half-halts. Good, so again, we keep the energy level, and then we feel like, okay, now I'm gonna keep the same energy level, and I'm gonna bring him back. Good, and again, just bouncing him back. It's not actually a backwards feeling, and then you see how he gets more expression. And again, comes a little bit to passage. So now I use that, now I take that energy back forward again. Good boy. And then again, I practice balling up this energy. And I keep his shoulders in the same spot. Lower his hind legs. Good. So I'm really controlling that rhythm. And again, I want to feel like I can separate the length of strides from his rhythm. So sometimes I want to make a smaller, quicker step. So here I'm going to say a little smaller. Make him really push and really quick, really energetic like that. Good. And now I want to be able to make a bigger step that's not as quick. So again, you got to be able to separate out your aids like that. Okay, so you got to be able to make a big step, practice. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect all the time. You got to make it like a game for yourself and your horse. So sometimes say, now can I make a little smaller step? And can I make it faster? Good. Good. Then I get his hind legs a bit more engaged. Now I'm going to make a bigger step, and I'm actually going to slow down. See, it's not always perfect. That's it. Good. That's what this whole sport is about, being able to control these things. Good. Be able to really control the size of the stride and the speed of the stride. So here, I want to make it, now I'm going to make it big and quick. Yeah, good. Now I want to keep the same speed, and now I'm going to make it smaller. But keep it quick. Good. And now I'm going to slow it down a little bit towards the passage again. Good. So half-halt back. Good boy. Good. That's it. Good. And now I'm going to make it forward and quick again. So big quick. Even if it gets a little bit running, it doesn't matter. I'm going to mix up that rhythm. Good. And now I'm going to bring him back. And then again, loosen my hand. Always thinking about the self-carriage. So I can get both reins anytime I want. Good. Then when you're in movements, you can really control these. Then you can, like if I feel like my horse is getting a little slow behind me, right away, I know that I can quicken him up. If I feel like the steps are too big, right away, I know that I can make them smaller. And again, I know this is a very fancy horse. We love him very much. And you don't have to have a big fancy horse like this. We have quarter horses in our program. We have all different kinds. So again, everything's in degrees. Now, can I make him quicker again? Good. I'm not gonna make him smaller again. Yeah. Very good. And again, checking my self-carriage. Then I feel like I can give my hand, and he's doing this for himself. And then after I'm done with that, I make sure that I can rise, and that I can always push his nose forward, and he stretches to the bit. Now you see, his trot is not necessarily the fanciest when we do our stretchy trot. Good boy. Again, making sure he really stretches forward to the bit and not hiding behind it. Then we know we've done good work. So in my half-halts, I'm, again, making sure very firstly that I've gotten the right amount of energy. So again, collection is collection of energy. So you have to make sure firstly that you have enough energy coming forward, or else you've got nothing to collect, nothing to make quicker, and nothing to slow down. So firstly, I make sure my horse is really going in a good impulsive way. Then I feel like I've got to always make sure that this keeps. Like that's the most important thing, that the horse stays in front of your leg. So as I'm then trying to recycle that energy back through his hind legs and back through his top line, if I feel that energy start to deplete and get less than, I make sure that I can use my leg a little bit, or use my voice even a little bit, to collect to make sure that that engine stays revving. That's very important. Then you just want to keep feeling like you've got all this energy recycling through, and that you can close your hand then to this energy. People think, oh God, I don't want to use my hand at all. You know, using your reins at all seems to get a little bit taboo. But really, it's kinder to be able to have a little bit shorter rein, have your horse a little bit more through the contact, than for him to be on a really super loose rein. Then you can't recycle that energy. It's got to be like an accordion from both ends. So you got to think, I've got all this energy I've created from the back, and then I'm going to close it in the front, and I'm going to make sure that the energy doesn't get depleted. Then your horse understands to shorten up. And again, it's a really good thing to remember, to help you to make sure that the rhythm stays the same if I want it to. So especially in the canter, you want to say, okay, I do a medium canter, that's going to be my rhythm. So when I go to collect my horse, I'm going to make sure that that rhythm stays the same, and I'm just going to shorten the amount of ground cover that I have. In the trot, can also be the same, but then as I talked about when I'm riding, I want to make sure that that's under my control. If I want to slow down, I can slow down. Now slowing down doesn't mean less energy, it actually requires more energy. So again, I want to be in complete control of the length of the stride and of the speed of the stride. With my seat, I can actually make the rhythm. So you'll see different riders like Isabelle Vert. She doesn't sit super still if you watch her, which some riders do, and she actually puts the rhythm into her horses, I think, which is why her horses have such amazing rhythm. Like she actually bounces a little bit in the rhythm that she wants. So sometimes I like to think of that, and I tell other people that. Don't be afraid of being a little bit loose and bouncing with your horse. There's a difference in bouncing against your horse or with your horse. And you can put that rhythm in. I can speed up my seat a little bit and call up the horse with my seat if I want to bounce a little bit faster and the horse comes to me. Or if I got on a horse that's very hot and wants to run, I can slow my breathing, slow my rhythm, and have the horse come to the rhythm of my own seat. So that's a really important thing to do, that you right away, when you either go to the trot or the canter, right away, you put the rhythm in that you want, that you've picked. Don't just go with whatever the horse gives you.